My day started super early. The first thing I had to do was pack up the studio.
You gotta move it all.
Basically, I rented a van for the day, so literally everything in the house had to all go in that same day. So the first thing I started doing was just pulling off all of the shoes from the shelves, and at this point, I am so glad I kept those boxes. So basically just grabbing all of the empty boxes that I had kept in the attic, bringing them down and just slapping whatever sneaker goes in whatever box. Sometimes it's a real pain to keep sneaker boxes, and for everybody it's not actually even possible because they just take up so much space. Incredibly handy if you ever move house, because obviously these sneakers cost a whole lot of money and you don't want them getting like damaged if you just throw them all into a bag or something. So yeah, keeping the box is definitely pretty important. Now after putting all of the sneakers in their respective boxes, we went to go and pick up the van. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Kieran for driving this freaking van because it is massive, and also I don't drive manual, so yeah, I can only drive automatic. The first trip was just me and Kieran loading up the van with random bits and pieces from around the house, just trying to get a full load, and then we drove over to the new house. So I stopped off and gave him a little house tour because it's actually the first time that he's ever seen it, you know, while it's nice and empty and not so chaotic like it's just about to become. And then I walked over to my brother's house. That's right, we are now neighbors, which is actually one of the main reasons that I'm even moving house in the first place. Dylan and I have always wanted to live next to each other, and now that we both make content for a living, it's actually ideal for when we inevitably start our own channel together, which by the way is in the works. Either way, of course we gotta get Dylan involved. He's helping us out the entire day, and he helps offload this first van trip of all of the different house bits and pieces, and we actually ended up throughout the day doing 3 different trips of just house stuff. And then it was time for the final load, which of course is the sneaker collection. And guys, I did not realize how out of hand my sneaker collection has got. Like when I made my first collection video, I had like just over 100 pairs, like maybe 105. But looking at it now, and I actually haven't counted, but I feel like it's at least 150 pairs, maybe even closer to 200. And obviously that's another big part of me moving house, is just to have more space. Now, obviously not just for sneakers. Either way, we started loading up the van with all of these sneakers and getting all of the pairs kind of lined up in the bed because I don't want to stack them super high, because as we drive around, they're just going to all fall over and just start jumbling into a huge mess in the back. Now, as soon as we get to the new place, it starts pouring down with rain, which I should have freaking expected. This is the UK.
And there we have it, y'all. It is pretty much a thunderstorm out there. So, I mean, you can hear it on the freaking van. I'm gonna step out.
So because there's 3 of us, Kieran's in the van making stacks of boxes, and I'm running in and out of the house from the van, just carrying these stacks and putting them at the bottom of the stairs. And then Dylan is running these stacks up and down the stairs into the room where I'm keeping all of these sneakers.
Let's head upstairs so I can show you guys the entire room. Boom. This is every single pair of shoes that I own. Damn, bruh. Sweating? What's the max amount of boxes you carried at one time? My record's 9.
I got 9 too.
You got 8!
No, it was 9.
Alright guys, so what you're looking at is the studio. This is going to be the place that I set up, and I'm aiming to make this place pretty incredible. But for right now, we've got videos to make, and I'm just gonna have to build kind of like a temporary studio with what I've got. So I think the general plan is to use this back wall as kind of like what I had at my old studio. So just line all of the sneakers up on that wall. Super light, easy to move around, so we can just slap them against the wall, fill this place up with sneakers, and then get filming and recording. At the top of the stairs, then we got Studio B, which currently is just where all of my sneakers live right now. So this is, well, it's not all of them, it's pretty much all of them. I've still got like maybe 10 pairs at the old house that we forgot to bring over. So I'm gonna take some of these sneakers, bring them downstairs into the studio, line that wall out, because the shoes that I had on that wall with all of the display, those were the ones, majority of them were ones that I was personally wearing. So hopefully it's gonna be a pretty easy job to pick them out. So let's get to it.
But there you go, they're all up on the wall. And there's no organization with any of them, but you know, for a temporary studio, we can deal with this. This will kind of look sick. I definitely don't think it's gonna be the final plan for this studio, In fact, it definitely isn't because I've got some pretty wild plans for it. So I'm gonna quickly finish setting it up. And we got some lights. That brings us to today, where we've actually put some work in the house and it's looking a little bit less chaotic than it was the other day. It was completely smashed by the previous owners, so they're gonna come fix that. Downstairs is looking okay. You know, we got a couch now, we got the TV set up. We got the mirror up so we can see. We got this little nice place. I don't know if we're gonna keep most of this stuff. I think a lot of stuff is gonna move around, but we've just kind of like tried to make it somewhat livable before we really like sort everything out. Still just got a bunch of stuff just sat underneath the stairs hanging out. Just in case y'all missed yesterday's video, I'll make this this vlog slightly more enjoyable on the table. I'll give you guys a little look at the Union Jordan 1. These are the Beffy's Beauty Supply collaborations. But you know what I thought was like really interesting was that when I unboxed these things, actually a lot of people said how excited they were for this pair. I mean, I was expecting people to hate on them because they are so different to a regular Jordan 1. But seems like people are somewhat hyped, which I think is pretty cool. Again, I think different stuff is always good, especially for a Jordan 1, a pair of shoes that has been done over and over again in so many different colors, but nothing really crazy different has actually happened for the most part, at least this year, last year. Maybe people are just feeling the regular Jordan 1 fatigue at the moment. It's still a polarizing sneaker, don't get me wrong. Some people absolutely hate it. But I think for the most part, at least it's somewhat interesting. There's just a lot of things that I want to end up doing with this house, like with so much space. I think I can create like multiple studios and stuff like that. So I'd love your guys' input. Obviously, a big part of all of this is you guys. So drop it down in the comment section. Any ideas for studio things that you would like to see in the background of videos. This room is not just going to be like a storage for these sneakers. This is actually going to be a second studio, whether it's related to my channel, potentially a News Daddy and Sneaker Daddy collaboration could be pretty sick. That could be a studio for us. That's what we're kind of planning. Me and Dylan potentially could have a studio in this room. And then over here is going to be my office. So we got the desk set up over here. This is just kind of slapped together, so it's super empty. Yeah, guys, those are the two main rooms in terms of like where I'm gonna be making most of my content. And yeah, welcome to the new house. Let's build the best freaking studio we possibly can. And I think that'll be a ton of fun. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. Obviously, this is all only possible with you guys watching the videos, supporting. Whenever we have a sponsor on the channel or anything like that, you guys go crazy. You help out the channel massively. Clicking those links and just generally supporting. From the bottom of my heart, it means the absolute world that I can do this for a freaking job. The world's funnest job. At least I find it to be the world's funnest job. Either way, we're gonna make this outro way too damn long, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. And again, appreciate you.